listening to Downworlder Dish, a Shadowhunter Chronicles podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 58, where we will be discussing the epilogue of City of Glass, Across the Sky and Stars. I'm Kristen.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Amanda.
Whoa.
I have a question.
Tell me.
Book readers. Bookworms, if you will. What is the point of a prologue and an epilogue? Can it just be part of the story?
It's
get it.
just for the author. It's not for anybody else.
Okay, like tying up loose ends or something?
So an epilogue is generally like ahead, like it's after the plot has kind of wrapped up. It's basically just like setting up like where they go off into the sunset, kind of a scenario. Prologues they can be used effectively as a tool to like give the reader like a jumpstart, like heads up of something that happened that's going to become a plot point later.
Okay.
But most of the time it's just authors indulging themselves. This is coming from someone who writes a prologue and epilogue for every book that they write.
So basically like I had an idea but it didn't fit in the story sort of thing?
It can be, or it can just be like, I really like, for instance, sometimes a prologue is in a different point of view. It's like, I really wanted to give this scene, but like this person doesn't really have a point of view in the rest of the book. It can be, or it can be like a flashback that you don't want to have to find a way to like technically to flashback within the regular story.
Okay.
So to like give 10 years ago, this is what happened in, their childhood, or, their parents died and it was horrible. And now that this is why they're like this or whatever.
Out for revenge.
There's a million different reasons.
Sure.
But usually it's something indulgent.
Okay. Got it.
Usually it's just like, I really wanted to write this, or like a hook. Like it could be something that happens later on in the plot and you like start the story before. So it could be like part of the climax. Like, that your main character is kidnapped and can't get out of a room. And so it's like this like small snapshot in the beginning to get you intrigued because you want to get to that part and find out what happened.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And an epilogue is usually just like, what's the happily ever after? What's the stuff that like you couldn't wrap up? In terms of romance, because that's what I write, but like in those kinds of books, it's usually like, well, the relationship, like the book can only be so long. Usually a relationship, if you don't have a bunch of like time jumps and stuff, it's only like maybe a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And so maybe your epilogue's a year later where they get engaged or get married or, find out they're pregnant. Like those are tropey epilogue things.
Okay.
Do you think this epilogue is so long because the books were supposed to be like done?
I think so. I mean, I think she knew she was going to keep writing by the time she finished this book.
Okay.
But she knew that she was going to jump over to TID because I believe the first Infernal Devices had already come out by the time the third book came out.
Okay.
Oh.
So I think it was like, let me give you something to hold you over until like the next of this series comes out or whatever.
Okay.
But, and epilogues are fun to get, like, move especially like with these books, to move the time frame forward because each book is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, seriously.
And you're like, they're madly in love. They've known each other for 3.5 weeks.
It's like, Kristen's got her stabby face on.
Right. So it's like those epilogues are like, oh, let's give us a month where nothing, no one tried to ruin the world.
Seriously. There's always something with these people. Yeah,
Always.
Amanda, there needs to be a story.
Drama.
Right?
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you for answering that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Infernal Devices, we decided that, so the original plan was that we were going to read the first 3 of the Mortal Instruments and then read Red Scrolls of Magic and then the Infernal Devices series. But while we were preparing ourselves for Red Scrolls of Magic, we realized that there is some spoilery stuff in there for the Infernal Devices. So we figured we're just going to play it safe and jump into the Infernal Devices first. And then once we're finished with that, we'll do Red Scrolls and then continue on with the Mortal Instruments series. So FYI to everybody.
We're excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
say the
very
least.
excited.
Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we also like have book crushes on the people in the Infernal Devices.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with that.
Nope.
Literally
Totally unrelated.
Zero.
Yeah. I'm stoked. This was my favorite. And I can't remember what you guys said your favorites were. Your favorite series or books. I can't remember. You said City of Ashes, right?
City of Ashes is like my favorite book.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I don't know.
Well, and
It all changes.
the newest book is my favorite book. I think I've decided.
I have only read it once. I need to read it again,
No.
but I think you're right.
I haven't read Chain of Gold. I just meant whatever new book I'm reading in the Shadowhunters fandom is my favorite book. So right now, I'm almost done with Ghost of the Shadow Market. So that is my favorite book at the moment.
Okay.
And then when I move on to Chain of Gold, that will be my favorite book at the moment.
I definitely understand that because it kind of does feel like, I mean, except with City of Fallen Angels.
Yeah. You said Clockwork Princess.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one was that in the line?
That's the last one.
Okay. That's probably my favorite too so far.
Yeah, because it's Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince,
and Clockwork Princess.
I
And
never
then
remember.
I really
the order.
liked the Dark Artifices Artifices series, which is the next one.
Yeah,
you'll
I'm
start.
almost there. I just
Yeah.
can't get through this last. It's great, but
It's hard.
I'm losing time in like I'm not doing what I used to do when I would listen to the books and stuff, and so I need to get back into finding a time to do it because I'm just not getting there.
6 books is a lot with 2 characters. I mean, the good thing is the second half of they introduce some more people, so at least kind of gets the spread different. But it's a lot to focus on,
And we get a lot of different points of views later,
Yeah.
because like we talked about in the first book was primarily all Clary,
right?
and then the second book was Clary and Jace, but really no one else. And then I think we got one point of view from Maya in book 2. Yeah.
And Simon maybe.
But
not
yeah,
as much.
Yeah, and then so in the third book we start seeing more points of views come, and then in the later half you get a lot more, and so there's a lot more to like juggle. That's one thing that we talked about for the last hours is that there's so many characters, and you have to like from the beginning, like you don't really get a whole book to kind of get used to, 2 point of views and then kind of learn the other characters and then bring them in. It's all like pretty much
Okay.
they're all in every scene, and you have to kind of keep up.
Which is why I'm glad you recommended the Ghost of the Shadow Market before.
Yeah, because it gives you a little bit of an insight. So then you can get used to their personality, and that helps you identify them. If like the name is like, you're like, wait, whose kid is that? Wait, like, are they cousins? I can't. And you've got like the family tree out, and you're like, that happened to me the entire time I was reading the last hours. Is I had the family tree on my phone, and I kept like looking. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure that I got that right.
Like we have a poster somewhere of Game of Thrones, the map, and we would do that with the show. Like, okay, where are they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably will have to do that too.
Yeah, you definitely need like you need props and tools to to keep up.
That's great. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Same Z's. I'm excited to go full Victorian England.
We're gonna have accents by the end. No, I'm just kidding.
So, dude, I am so into it. I cannot wait until I get to quote that book and then use my terrible English accent. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh.
All right. Well, what do you guys say we cut the chit chat and kick things off? Not with Robin's recap, because this whole epilogue is a recap.
Yay! Sorry, Robin.
Boo to that.
So, holy shit balls, Banana Man?
Banana? Banana.
Banana.
Bananas. Wait, is that how you spell it? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think
Okay.
so. Wait, I have something to add, but I want you to read this first. So, go.
So, take 2, and I'm leaving it all in. Holy shitballs, Batman, what a ride. Valentine is dead. Jace got murdered by his own fake father, and then the angel himself resurrected him because Clary wished for it after she changed the allegiance rune. After she changed the allegiance of the summoning spell with her special rune power. And that's just the beginning. I'm already exhausted.
Take a breath. Okay, so I was like driving thinking, I guess, today, and I was listening to our most recent episode. Today is February 1st, so that means it's episode 454. Anyway, I don't know why that's important, but we're talking about Valentine or whatever, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, how is this motherfucker's name Valentine? Like, what an odd name. You know what I mean? Like, it's so long. It just seems like we talk about him so much. It seems like Valentine's more like his bad guy name.
Like,
and
it's his Lord Voldemort name.
Like, his real name's like Rod.
Ron?
I don't know, Ron. Something like that. Something real short.
I like Rod better. It's such a, like, hillbilly name. No offense to all the Rods out there. I'm sure you're really nice. It just it makes me think, it puts Valentine, like, on the fence with Hank Hill. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking about that today. We were...
Damn it, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Why didn't we do that while he was still alive?
Seriously.
Missed opportunity.
Oh, shitters. Okay, that's
like,
all.
That is a really weird name. I want to know... What?
Werewolves. Oh.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh my god, I'm like crying.
Such a good Hank Hill.
Because my dad sounds like Hank Hill.
That's true. That's true.
Lots of practice.
Facts.
Oh, jeez.
But you're right. Like, that's such a weird name. I'm sure it's not a weird name for Shadowhunters, whatever.
Right. Probably.
But it's not Jonathan.
Yeah, yeah.
And if Jonathan's such a popular name, why are none of the circle members named Jonathan?
Yeah, literally his kids are the only ones.
Right.
So popular.
Popular to who?
In this family, maybe.
Clary's real name is Jonathina.
Okay, what is it?
But yeah, like, it just means that we really do need a Valentine prequel, because I want to know what his parents were like. And
yeah.
What the fuck were his parents' named? Was his dad named Bartholomew? Like...
Balthazar.
Oh, that's better.
Mm-hmm.
That's way better.
Yeah.
There's got to be a family tree somewhere. We can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm very curious about his upbringing and what made him so evil. Dude, I love murder shows, so this is totally in my wheelhouse.
I want to know why.
Yeah.
A murder. Evil. Okay, anyway. But it's okay, folks. It's okay. Because Valentine's dead.
Yeah.
And we're in the home stretch. All the big scary shit is over, and we can breathe, grieve, and find our not brother and get to smooching, because it's the epilogue. What? I need an epilogue song.
Da, 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 da,
Robin?
It's the motherfucking epilogue.
That's amazing.
That was good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that away from you,
No, that
Robin.
was
You
great.
should do something.
No, they couldn't. After that,
There's no competing. Amanda has won the award.
No one knows what that was. Just us. We're
It's fine.
far too old.
It's like the fucking commercials, man. I can't. Cannot. There was another one. It was the ice cream. What's the song? Now I can't think of it. And they were doing the kid and play dance.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. It's like a sundae or something like that. And they're pouring on some chocolate or something.
Yeah.
It's I don't remember what it is.
Another one? I feel personally attacked by the advertising agencies.
Makes me feel old.
For real. So we kick things off with Jace's point of view a few days after the battle as he watches Valentine's funeral from a hilltop because he did not attend. So it's time for a game of What'd We Miss? So the Clave decided to give Valentine a proper funeral with all the fixins, even though he was a traitor.
I don't get it.
And I'm sorry, but Celine got buried at a fucking crossroads?
I don't get it. I just don't. Like, does not compute.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
that's some bullshit.
Fucking patriarch bullshit. Whatever. Sebastian's body was never recovered. By the time a team of Shadowhunters went looking for Sebastian where Jace told them that he'd left the body, he was gone, which is not super comforting, but it's all we got to work with. And I'm like,
He just disintegrated like a demon.
Right. Folded up and just gone.
He went to another realm.
It got delayed because of his humanness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Jace has been in the hospital for the past couple of days after the battle, and he hasn't seen Clary at all.
God, they're so annoying.
I just...
Knock their heads down. Maybe she has a phobia of hospitals. She didn't go see her mom either.
She can't. She's like, if I have to have Luke offer me another cup is the word cup of shitty coffee, I'm out. Like, I can't anymore. He'll be fine. I'm good.
And Magnus helped with Jace's recovery because of course he did, because
Right.
it's Magnus. And their tab for Magnus's services, woo!
Yeah, and I guess that answers one of my questions, that's how Magnus lives. Because remember, I was like, at one point I was like, how does he get his stuff? Does he just file his taxes, So I guess that makes sense. He makes money off of the Clave paying him, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not anymore. Because he's doing everything for these guys.
Right.
But
So not okay.
maybe he has a side hustle.
He's like, I'm going bankrupt because of you, Alexander.
He's doing it all over Zoom right now.
Guys, make sure you log in at 1 for a virtual seance.
Yep.
I could see Magnus like creating like a magic bubble because he just has to go get his coffee from the corner shop or whatever.
Right.
Like there's a sale at Barney's and he's like, no, I gotta be there in person. So Jace is clearly having a really hard time reconciling his emotions over Valentine's death with the knowledge that he was super duper evil, which I get. There's this moment that I think sums it up pretty well, though. I'm going to quote from the book, Robin.
Read it.
What he would say if he were down there amongst the mourners, speaking their last words to Valentine. You were never really my father, he might say, or you were the only father I never knew. Both statements were equally true, no matter how contradictory. Makes me sad for poor baby Jason, his little feelings.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's true. It's like, that's a complex relationship. You can't just one way or the other.
Yeah, well, and he can't, I mean, obviously now he knows everything, but that doesn't wipe out 10 years of his life.
Right. Like, you can't forget spaghetti bath time.
Well, and not only 10 years, but then all those years of thinking, those 7 years of thinking he was dead. And just because I'll be like, I feel like after someone dies, you really sit back and think about all the things they did for you. And I certainly think it would be harder to forget all the memories you relived too, you know, all those great memories, which it's crazy after hearing everything to think he even had any good memories, dude.
Right.
Bath time, because the
didn't know any
spaghetti
better.
was someone else that did it for him. You know, yeah, his dad said to do it, but it was a servant that really did it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Well, and that's all he knew. He didn't know anybody else. He didn't know that there was a different way to be brought up until he came to the Lightwoods. And then at that point, his dad was already dead. And when people die, you tend to forget the bad things and only remember the good things.
Like labor.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
100% like labor.
Yep.
I still remember that shit.
Yeah. Mine was like 17 days long. So yeah, I remember it too. But I would still do it again, even though in that moment I was like, dude, this is the worst. Anyway.
Right? Fuck. All those endorphins and shit. So when you look back on it, you're like, I remember how bad it hurt, but it still makes you want it.
Yeah.
Fucking biology.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Bullshit. So Jace can't help but remember the good times that he had with Valentine growing up, along with the bad. And Papa Luke joins Jace's pity party and lays down some serious wisdom. At the end of the day, no matter what blood runs through his veins, Valentine was his father, and that relationship will always be complicated, but it doesn't mean Jace can't miss him. Fucking Luke.
Gosh, he's amazing.
Right?
I just want to give him a hug. Like, have him make me feel better about stuff.
Right?
And this makes me wonder what Luke's family was like. Because Amethyst seems very, like, I guess meek would be the word I'd use. So his family, and he seems like such a good person. Like, they must have just been really good people. Mm-hmm. His parents, I mean. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Yeah, like, what happened to his parents?
I don't know, but I bet he uses fabric softener and he smells good.
Yeah.
Oh, that worn flannel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, he is like a 30-something mom's wet dream. I'm sorry, but someone had to say it. It's true.
I'm speechless. I can't disagree.
Right? Kind, compassionate, a little rugged. He's always got a 5 o'clock shadow.
That's it.
I don't even mind the wet dog smell.
I don't.
That's why he uses the fabric softener.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Finally put 2 and 2 together. So Jace and Luke have a man-to-man chat, and Luke helps Jace work through some of his feelings about Hodge and V-Ting, and it's precious as fuck. And then we pop over to Clary's point of view for a check-in. And she's in Isabel's room watching the smoke drift into the sky from the funeral pyres, while Izzy tries to find something to wear for the celebration that night.
It's just so funny. We have this stupid-ass funeral in the morning, and we're just going to be like, party! A couple hours later.
Yeah. Well,
now let's party that he's dead.
It's a party in the Alicante.
We are killing it today. That was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, they gotta move fast because they die so young, right? They gotta fill it all in.
That's fair.
So, yeah, that's right. The Shadowhunters are burning their dead from the battle by day and celebrating by night.
Yeah.
As Amanda said.
Yep.
We have... It's not great when we sync up brains. So Clary thinks about the silver dress in Amethyst's trunk. It's in her truck.
I mean,
it's in her pickup.
She suddenly turned into Kristen. All of her clothes are in her car.
Hey, it hasn't been like that since like 4 years.
Good for you.
Right? Her trunk of old clothes. But she's pretty sure Amethyst wouldn't let her borrow it. Probably because Clary doesn't have a great track record with clothes. So Clary's planning on just wearing her street gear.
As if Isabel would let her.
Right?
Come on.
Right? And like Isabel doesn't have something that Clary could wear.
Or go shopping. There's stores.
Right. There's gotta be some like cloak store or something.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Like your mom's there now and she owes you a dress.
Right. No shit. I'd be angling that way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a little excerpt from this interaction because I think it's hilarious. So, boring, Isabel said. She glanced over at Aline, who was sitting on a chair by the bed reading. Don't you think it's boring? I think you should let Clary wear what she wants. Aline didn't look up from her book. Besides, it's not like she's dressing up for anyone. She's dressing up for Jace, Isabel said, as if this were obvious. As well she should. Aline looked up, blinking in confusion, and then smiled. Oh, right. I keep forgetting. It must be weird, right? Knowing he's not your brother? No, Clary said firmly. Thinking he was my brother was weird. This feels right. Dude, fucking Aline. She must be like, these people are fucking weird.
Every interaction with him.
Right? Just like, fucking hell, man.
She seems like one of those type of people to me that just speaks her mind. She's just like, she doesn't give a fuck. Like, oh yeah, totally. He's not your brother, dude. I totally forgot. When it seems like something they just don't really talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's going to shout it from the rooftops for her.
Right? Aline thinks it's weird that Jace hasn't come to see Clary and wonders if maybe he's not interested anymore now that their relationship isn't taboo. And Izzy shuts that shit down, saying Jace isn't like that. Okay, he might not be like that now, but before Clary, he probably definitely was like that.
Yeah, it seems like he was.
Aline's like, I gotta go feed my cats, and bounces, leaving Izzy and Clary to gossip about her. The truth hurts, man.
Yep.
No bueno. Although she really did not need to like plant that seed in Clary's very impressionable mind.
No.
We all know how good Clary is with those kinds of things. So Izzy explains what the celebration will look like. A parade, fireworks, music, dancing. It's basically a carnival and a ball all wrapped up together. Fuck. It's basically a carnival and a ball all wrapped up together. And then Izzy breaks all of our hearts by telling Clary that Max would have loved it. Like, can we not?
So sad.
Fuck.
Don't rain on my parade.
Right. Like, the funerals were in the morning. That was the sad part of the day. Now we are getting ready for the fun part of the day. Let's chill with the melancholy. Meanwhile, Jace comes a knocking at Amatis's house looking for Clary, but of course she's not there. She's with Izzy.
I feel like you missed a really big opportunity here.
What?
Come and knock on our door. Okay.
I like it.
I'm just adding to our soundtrack.
It's good. It's good. So Jace and Amatis briefly discuss his lineage and the OG Inquisitor, aka his long-lost Nana, who sacrificed herself for him after seeing the scar on his shoulder. A scar that Amatis explains is a family trait of the Herondales. As the legend goes, a Herondale was visited by an angel in his sleep and woke up with a star-shaped scar. Like,
finally, we have an answer.
So Clary really is related to Jace.
Wait,
the mystery continues.
Clary has that too?
Yeah, remember she tried to show it to him and he got all weird.
Oh, yeah.
Before they made out in the first book.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, and Jocelyn has one too. So I think we can conclude that that's probably not what really happened. It's just like the legend or whatever.
So watch, it turns out he wasn't actually related to her and she killed herself. Okay, she didn't kill herself. I mean, she's still sacrificed for a life of a young person, but
Quizzy
yeah.
I don't know that we ever like, do you know? Do we ever like get the solid?
I forgot about it until you just said that.
I think it has to do, I mean, they talk about like contact with an angel, so it might have to do with their angel blood.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. That makes
but
sense.
if Jocelyn has it, although she got angel blood.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So maybe one of the Herondales had angel blood or something.
Okay.
Where am I? Oh,
I just want to know.
Yeah.
Maybe how common is that knowledge? Like about the star-shaped scar.
Well, Amatis was married to him, so she would know.
I think it's a family thing. I don't know that it's necessarily. I'm sure the Silent Brothers know because they know everything. But
well, you would just think like at some point, like Maris would have seen Jace's shoulder.
I think it's like a family, family lore or whatever.
Like that's what you tell your kid when you put them down for bed. Like, your grandma did this. But why would you tell someone else?
Gotcha. Okay.
So Amatis knowing that. Amatis, now knowing that Jace is the son of the love of her, fucking hell. Amatis, now knowing that Jace is the son of the love of her life, offers him a box of Stephen's things, letters and personal items that she's kept over the years. And oh my fucking God, can we stop with the emotional overload? Yeah, like I can't take it. Dude, she has been pining for this guy who dropped her like a pair of dirty fucking socks.
That's true. Yeah, because I was going to say, I'm a little selfish. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'd want to give those things away. Like, I would give him some stuff, and maybe she did keep some stuff for herself. But I guess you're right. Yeah. She just dropped it. Or he, bye-bye.
Right.
And he just went along with it.
Mm-hmm. See, I would have pulled a Beyonce and... Or,
on the
no.
left, on the left.
Not even. I wouldn't even do that. I would go a step further. I would pull an Angela Bassett in Waiting to Exhale and burn that shit.
Okay.
Wow, that dated us. I mean, that's older than me.
I've seen it, actually.
It's bad. She has this whole thing. She fucking throws shit in the car, drives the car out, fucking lights the car on fire. It's badass.
Seems unnecessary, the whole car. Someone can track you for littering.
She didn't care. She was mad. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of like heavy there.
Yeah.
But don't worry. We skip over to Clary. And Clary is now walking through Ametyst's door, but Jace isn't there. So we've got a time jump.
Okay.
Right? So she gets back to the house only to find her mother and Luke having a private conversation. So naturally she eavesdrops.
As I would.
Right. So Luke is planning to stay in Alicante. The Clave has offered him the person/wolf seat on the council, and he's planning on taking it, seeing as there's no other reason to stay in New York. Hint, hint. Could he have been more obvious?
Okay, so if he's on the council, is he suggesting, which I think we do maybe get there, but I honestly don't totally remember. Does he have to live there?
No, but like he's...
Might as well if he's working there. And
he's basically the only one that the Clave really trusts because he used to be a Shadowhunter. So I think he's like trying to like, well, if I'm here, then I can help set everything up and like be a liaison between the Downworlders and the snooty ass Shadowhunters.
Yeah.
Like...
Okay, next question. Do you think that once he gets a seat on the council, which they have already, right? Like, it's been established because they fought. Okay, so does he get a house now? Do you think they'll give him a place to live?
Maybe he has to live with the pack in Brosland.
That's what I wonder. Maybe he has to go be with his... I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't feel like the Shadowhunters would be that generous to give them each a
house.
house.
Either.
Yeah. Okay, and do they live... Okay, when you imagine the forest, and I don't know if someday they explain it, what it looks like. Is it like a camp? Like a... But I guess... Because they're not always werewolves, right? I mean, they go back to their human form, so how do they live in a forest?
Maybe it just depends on how they want to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like maybe they enjoy living as the wolf part.
Okay.
Of
Maybe
their
they have a
person.
little compound or something.
Or otherwise, they just have like Amethyst cottages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, like it's all in a circle.
Back to Luke hinting
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you know, he doesn't want to leave, but, you know, whatever. And Jocelyn's like, oh, yeah, of course, if that's what you want. Fucking hell. And so, sick of hiding his feelings, Luke spills the beans and admits that he's been in love with Jocelyn for, like, ever. And those Fairchild genes kick in, and she says absolutely fucking nothing, and he leaves.
Sounds about right.
It's weird. He's been your best friend forever, and your reaction is if that's what you want. Like, even if you didn't think he was in love with you or you weren't in love with him, I'd be like, dude, what? You're going to leave me? That's what I would say to one of you guys.
Right.
Like, no. That's not happening. You're not leaving me. Right. Sorry.
But like, can't you do that and live in New York?
Yeah.
Like, at least something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I just...
Come on. Get your shit
Yep.
together.
Fucking Jocelyn.
Yep.
Anyway.
So, Clary, still hiding in the foyer out of sight, overhears Amethyst basically telling Jocelyn good riddance because she's been stringing along her brother long enough. But wait, Jocelyn must be giving off some nonverbals because Amethyst is like, holy shit, you love his furry ass. Oh, fuck, I need to do that again. Because Amethyst is all, holy shit, you love his furry ass. And Clary's waited long enough and emerges from the shadows to threaten her mother's life if she doesn't go after Luke and tell him she loves him. And for once it works.
Yay.
Finally.
Of course, getting Luke and Jocelyn together is just a happy accident, and the real reason Clary came to Ametyst's house was to say yes to the dress. Specifically, the silver one in the trunk upstairs.
Ooh la la.
Meow.
Okay, so Clary is making her way to the Lightwood's house and noticing all of the Shadowhunters outside. And they're all dressed up in, like, ball gowns and shit. And, like, I think it's described as some of them are wearing, like, almost costumes. Like, I almost think, like, Victorian sort of stuff. It was super cool.
I want to go to that party.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at the Lightwood's house, Maris and Robert are outside chatting with the Penhallows, which I think, I don't know. Like, why are they outside? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter, but I think it's interesting. Isabel runs in...
Because how could you see them?
Okay.
How could you notice them if they were?
Yeah.
Because I have to remember, it's like winter, right? Fall into winter right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cold. Like,
Yeah.
it just seems weird.
It just does. Like, I'd be like, come on in, let's chat.
I totally forgot that was... Yeah, because... The first book happened in September, so this has to be like November, right?
No, it's still September. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, shitters.
Well, because it was as summer, because it started in summer in the heat. Because she was
probably
talking
late
about,
August.
like, and then it transitioned into like September. So it's got to be like
at least
cold.
October.
Yeah.
And this is in between France and Germany.
It's cold.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, for sure. So go inside. Okay.
Right?
And bye-bye.
Yeah. So Isabel runs into Clary and they have the little girly like, oh, you look so good. No, you look so good, girl. And then Isabel tells her that she doesn't know where Jace is, but he ain't here. Like, I don't know. Alec and Aline come out and Clary notices that Alec seems more relaxed. I mean,
He's got that glow.
bottling up all of that secretness. Gotta be hard.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's a sidebar. I apologize. Have you guys seen Booksmart?
No.
Okay, so it's a teen, high school, two best friends, whatever. They do this thing where, like, when they see each other, they, like, have basically, like, a compliment off. They're like, how dare you be this beautiful? And that's exactly what, like, I envision. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
So from now on, when we greet each other, we have to talk about how, like, aggressively talk about how beautiful we are.
Like, no, bitch.
Right.
You're so hot.
Like, how fucking dare you?
That's great.
That's great.
So they all head to the party together, and they run into Simon and Maya. And Clary hadn't seen Simon all day since he was at the hall during the council meeting because he was curious, like, how a vampire representative would be, like, selected. Which is interesting that you would think the vampires would, like, pick someone. I don't know. Seem like the vampires should be picking who would be selected, right?
I think.
It seems to me
Right?
like he was listening to the council talk about who they'd want. But, like, how would they know, I guess? So it would have to be the vampires picking,
I
right?
think the vampires have to decide, right?
But they're at the hall. It says that he was at the hall. So all the vampires probably aren't at the hall.
But that probably clan leaders, like the most prominent clan leaders probably made that decision.
From all over the place.
That's what I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming not all vampires want to make a bargain
Yeah.
Right.
with the clave, so maybe just the people that are interested in
Right.
doing that.
Huh.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that Simon's not finally, because I wouldn't want to either, but he's embracing his vampy lifestyle, I guess, by wanting to do that. So anyway, Clary asks him if the Mark of Cain saved him, and he says that it did, which it just seems crazy that he wouldn't want to tell her right away. I don't know.
It's like, it seemed like Jace had been in the hospital for a couple days.
Yeah.
3 days. Yeah.
So you haven't talked to Simon about that in 3 days?
Yeah.
In 3 damn nights?
Where is he
Robin.
staying?
Plot.
Yeah. You're bad, Robin.
They had to wait until it was on the page.
I mean, they could have still said, like, then they started talking about how cool that it was that the Mark of Cain saved him. Like, something. Like,
Right. Like, clearly it saved him, too, because he's right there.
yeah.
Right.
But I guess maybe that's not what did it.
Don't complete verb agreement and put this in the past.
Yeah.
He just hid.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Well, it seems like for the plot, she could have been like, man, because I repeat myself all the time. So she could have been like, man, I still think it's so cool that worked.
Right.
What was it? Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Jody says to me. Yeah. Yep. Because I do. I repeat myself. All right. Well, she adds that she wishes she could remove the Mark of Cain and wonders what might happen to him for having it. And she asks him about the meeting, and he says that he doesn't know which person was selected, but it wasn't Raphael. It just seems weird to go there and spend, like, potentially what it sounds like possibly 3 days, even though it says all day. And he doesn't know who it was. I guess maybe he just doesn't know the person.
I think it does say who was selected, right? Or is that later?
I don't remember.
Well, I
them
know who
saying.
it is. I know who got selected. I just don't know where they put, because it's Nightshade, Ansel Nightshade, who was selected as the
I've
representative.
never heard that name before.
We might have to, hold on.
Ansel and Gretel. Just kidding.
I'll do this. And I'll search.
Okay.
You said Nightshade?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's one word.
That's his last name.
Yep.
Epilogue. He had a pretend. Yeah, it says, not Raphael, Simon said, sounding as if he were pleased about it. Some other vampire. He had a pretentious name, Nightshade or something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So he just doesn't know who the he knows who it was, but not who they are.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So she tells him that she's been asked to draw a new rune for the council, like their new logo, basically. And she's going to incorporate, yeah. I imagine it's going to be on like flags and shit. I don't know. So she wants to incorporate Shadowhunter and Downworlder elements. And Simon tells her that she deserves a medal or something for everything she did.
Like the Presidential Medal of Freedom or something.
Like, I know that Clary is a phenomenal artist, so it's probably going to look badass, but all I can imagine is like clip art. And
Same.
Like, you're making like a crest for like your 7th grade, like.
Yes.
You mean the shields that I made?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
And it looks like just like you know, cut and paste or whatever, but I'm sure it's going to look nice.
Yeah. Do we ever see it? Is it ever like on a book cover or something?
I don't think it's on a book cover, but I think it's like inside. I've seen an illustration of it.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know if that was like the official like whatever.
Okay. So, I don't know. Apparently, this battle only actually lasted about 10 minutes. But Simon tells her that he was in that battle. And it would have been way worse if she hadn't brought everybody together like that. Like, it wouldn't have gone as well or worked at all. So she starts to wonder what is going to happen when they get home. And apparently Magnus used a spell or something that took care of Simon's mom so that she wouldn't worry about him being gone. I'm just curious, like, is he on a school trip? Like, how do you just not care that you're not talking to your kid or checking in with him for probably at least a week, right?
Right.
So, I mean, he has a cell phone, so she should be able to check in with him.
It's like that. I mean, he was able to make us, Clary forgot
That's
what
fair.
she was forgetting as she was seeing it. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's what he did. Forgot about no.
Dude, I'd really like Magnus to like help with my anxiety.
For
like if
sure.
he could just like do a quick spell on me so like I don't worry about everything. That'd be nice.
So she wonders what she would go, like if she's going to go back to her normal life after all the shit when she gets home. And Simon's like, yeah, you're not going back to school. And so he reminds her, like, you're going to get your education at the Institute. And I feel like it's interesting, like, how does Simon know that there will be a replacement for Hodge? Like, it didn't sound like there was a plan for all of this. So is there going to be a tutor? Like, where's she going to go to get this education? How does Simon know? I think he's just kind of like, you're not going back. Like, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know how Simon could possibly know that, but like imagine this was Jocelyn having the conversation with her. Like obviously she's not going to go back, but her mom's not going to let her like live in Alicante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some solution. And obviously Jason, Isabel still have schooling or whatever. And with Hodge gone, they still have to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, you're right. Simon would... Why would Simon be the one to like come up with that?
Weirdo. Just see more issues with Simon. Just kidding.
He knows more than he should. There's something shady about that guy.
That's right. So he has decided that he wants to go back to school and go to college. And Clary points out that people are going to notice a difference in him when he gets back because he's so much hotter now that he's a vampire. And he's like, what?
Me?
Yeah.
He's going to change his last name to Cullen.
It's great. And she points out like Maya and Isabel, and she tells him like they're both totally into you. Like, look at these girls. They're whispering about you right now, basically. And she makes him promise that whoever he chooses to date, that he is still like cool with hanging out with her. Like, don't let your new girlfriend overrule me and like don't be friends with me. And he's like, duh, bro. Like, we're friends. It's cool. Whatever. So anyway, Angel Square was all decorated beautifully and pretty obvious that magic played a part in this, right? Because
yeah,
it seems like it'd be pretty fucked up after a battle,
right?
I would imagine. So Shadowhunters and Downworlders are all carrying food and drinks and having a great time, and it just sounds like something we all need right now in life. And I also don't know that I've ever really been to a fancy party where there's like platters and stuff, but I guess there might not be that because who would be serving them? It's like our Christmas party, like we have to work it even though it's supposed to be our Christmas party too.
Yep. So
maybe there are people serving food still. Or did they get like a third party to get the food? Like Mondays are there making their food? I don't know.
Maybe they magicked in the food from
There you go. Mm-hmm. He thought about that amazing sushi he had in New York, and he was like, bam, it's here now.
Maybe it's one of those things, like, I always feel bad, like, when you do a continental breakfast or a buffet. Mm-hmm. Like, where does all the extra food go? Yeah. Like, it just goes in the garbage? Like, you donate that. I don't know.
Yep.
Do something. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had a giant wedding and we had a bunch of food left over, like, take it to a homeless shelter. Like, or a soup kitchen. I don't know. Maybe they take all that leftover food and that's what they're serving there. So the food doesn't go to waste.
Totally. I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's totally how Shadowhunters would live their lives.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like eating leftovers.
They seem like
without
waste.
Kind of
yeah. That's an ultimate buffet because there might only be like one serving left of something. Damn, I missed out on the mac and cheese.
The cold mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But there's magic. They can reheat it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So Simon sees a Kelpie, and Isabel reassures him that it's not like Magnus's party, and it's safe to eat and drink everything here, which I don't blame him for being nervous.
Yep. He's like, oh, fuck, not again.
Yep, can't do it. So Clary saw Magnus talking to a girl that she thought looked familiar, but after they were done talking, the girl just went into the trees and disappeared. I'm like, do we get more of this? Like, maybe this is one of those things that's trying to get me into the next book. I don't know. So, sorry. No one else asks him about it, so it just seems more weird to me. Whatever. So he and Alec talk about their clothes, and Magnus tries to convince him to go get a fancy suit just to have on hand. Like, you need a Dolce suit, okay? And Magnus whispers into Clary's ear to go to the Accord steps, and Ovs, this is where Jace has been, and it's like the best part in Titanic when Jack is at the top of the stairs waiting for Rose. Yeah, 13-year-old me is totally melting right now. That was totally, I can picture it. He's so fucking handsome, yo.
Dude, Leonardo DiCaprio circa 1997.
13 times I saw that in theaters.
Jeez, Malie.
Where did I get the money for that? I didn't have any money.
Take a break. It was like $4 to go see a matinee back then.
My friend's mom probably paid for it because I probably went with Stacy.
Well, and then everybody, all the boys got their hair cut like that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yep. We work with a guy that I didn't know him back then. I knew him when he was an adult, but he says he looked a lot like him, and I think he says he even had the hair. It's just funny.
Yep.
Like everybody.
It was the hot hairstyle, and it had to be like that, like sun-kissed blonde. Like, it's not bleach blonde.
Uh-huh.
It has to look natural, like surfer dude blonde.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Hang loose.
Reliving our childhood.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So Clary gathers her skirt in her hands and starts to make her way up to her waiting Prince Charming, which I like. Was it Jack Dawson better?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway. I'm assuming that he's doing his best, like, he's in his best James Dean outfit.
Oh, with, like, his tie undone and stuff, too.
Yeah,
like,
just totally, like, white t-shirt,
okay.
I think. Like, he's, his hair is back.
Because he's too cool to dress up.
He's got his leather jacket on, like.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was imagining he had his suit on, but, like, it was roughed up.
Yeah, no.
A little bit, but okay. I can dig that.
Because he was getting it on with a Kelpie.
Just because he's too fucking lazy or too cool to tie his tie.
Right.
Or tuck in his shirt all the way.
His dad never taught him. He taught him Latin, but not how to tie a tie.
It's fine. It's a clip-on.
It's a bow tie.
Right?
So Clary has this panic moment. She's like, oh my God, I'm so overdressed. And she stops walking, which you walked by a million other people that are dressed up like fancy or more fancy than you are. But I feel it. It's fine. She's nervous. It's cool. So Jace's spidey sense is tingling. So he looks up and he sees her on the stairs. And he has the box that Amatis gave him in his hands. Like, he's holding it. And he calls out and he's like, Clary.
Was he, like, not able to see? It's weird.
So she's like, in the flesh, who else could it be? And he's like, you don't look like yourself. She's like, it's just the dress, I don't normally wear stuff like so pretty. Please compliment me.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway. And he says that she always looks beautiful, which Clary, like, makes her fondly think about the time in the greenhouse.
That one time he called her beautiful.
Right. Well, and Jace had told, like, when he said it like it was a fact. Like, not like.
Right.
Like, how do you not know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you own a mirror?
No, because she's a heroine in a YA novel. Of course she thinks she's ugly.
Yeah.
Right. So he breaks her out of her thought because she's clearing. She's like spiraling.
Yep.
And he breaks her out. Yep. And he's like, you look so distant that I can't touch you. Which...
Just say what you mean.
Right. And so then she comes and sits down next to him, and she's like, you can touch me if you want.
In the vagina.
In and around.
Sorry.
I'm uncomfortable with feelings. Okay? It's like
Robin's just gonna make jokes.
it's like on Outlander when Jamie and Claire are so uncomfortably close to each other's faces talking.
Yes.
No. I literally fast forward it. I don't watch it. Like, I know
it's too intimate.
It's like, I know it's why people want to watch the series, but I can't. I'm like, nope, gross.
Yeah. All
Like,
I can think of is my old man coffee breath.
and they not brushing their teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't, I'd kiss you 1,000 times, Sassenach. Like, no, I
No,
can't.
you wouldn't.
Move forward.
You would vomit.
So this is what this is doing to me, and I don't like it.
Got it.
So this is going to be awkward. Anyway, he is also awkward, so he reaches out and, like, caresses her hand and then, like, releases it. Catch and release. Catch
Weird.
and release.
With just the tips of his fingers.
Yep.
It's a touch and drag.
He's probing her fingers with his fingers. Anyway, so Clary, of course, is spiraling, as I said before. So Aline's words are, like, echoing in the back of her mind about, like, maybe he's just not into you. You're not forbidden fruit of the loom.
It's just not that into you.
Right. So, breaking the awkward, Clary's like, hey, is that a dick in your box? Okay. Not really. But she doesn't want to know what's inside. So he tells her about getting the gift from Amatis and that he really wants to feel connected to his father. And he hoped that maybe, like, going through the keepsakes would stir some emotions. But he's like, dude, Steven's just some rando dude. I don't give a shit.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
So Clary calls him by name. She's like, Jace. And he's like, yeah, that's another thing. I don't have a real name, do I? And Clary asks him, like, well, who came up with Jace? Is that, like, what you chose to call yourself? And he's like, no, like, Vitang always called me Jonathan. It's what everyone, used to call me. Even when I first came into the Institute, and he wasn't really supposed to have a middle name, like Christopher, he just pillaged it out of, like, the forbidden medical journal that Vitang was writing down, like, the progress of his experiments.
Mm-hmm.
So when he told Maris that his middle name was Christopher, she said that, like, she forgot it was Michael's middle name, like Michael Whalen's middle name. Which,
how would you know that?
Because Robert and him were parabrotis. So I guess maybe.
I think I know Andy's best friend's middle name. I think, and we lived together.
Right.
At some point, like we were roommates.
I don't know.
You'd think I'd see his mail.
So yeah, I don't know. Something she forgot.
Okay.
Like, oh, Christopher, I must have forgot that was Michael's middle name.
But, like, okay, no, finish what you, and then yeah.
Anyway, so, like, that's probably why you have the name Christopher. I don't know.
Right.
Regardless, she wasn't into it. So after that, she started to call him Jace, and she's like, new name, new life. Like, we'll call you Jace. Like, let's start fresh. This is your new digs. And he liked it, so it stuck. And now it almost feels like maybe, like, looking back deep down, Maris knew that he was Valentine's, like, and didn't want to believe it. Like, I think she knew Valentine's son was named Jonathan Christopher. So now that he's saying his name is Jonathan Christopher, then, like, she's like, oh, it must be Michael's middle name. Like, why would you pick Christopher? Weird.
Okay.
Blah.
So I have a hot take. I have an unpopular opinion. I think that, oh God, I'm going to get hate for this. Okay. I think that this was put in here, this specific part about Maris at the end here. I think that this was put in, like, and her coming up with his name and doing the whole whatever. I think that was an afterthought that was added in. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was an original because of the way that she behaved in City of Ashes. Because I don't believe that she would have behaved that way had this really been true. Because this is indicating that she absolutely knew or had a suspicion.
Okay, so we're trying to make up ground and make her look better.
I think
treating
so.
him kind of crappy.
I think so. I think that it would have made more sense. Like, she would have, I think, been more honest with him up in City of Ashes and been like, look, you need to get gone because I need to protect you, whatever, instead of being like weird and cold and like doing that whole, do you know how like that never fit? Like that never made sense because like, you're like, this is your adopted kid.
Yeah.
Like he's been your son for 7 years. Like, doesn't make any fucking sense at all. You know, especially given the relationship that you've had with him up until this point. So I think that this was trying to like walk back that behavior. But it wasn't very successful because it's not, to me, it's not believable. Well, it doesn't make any sense.
My next thing, Clary's like, oh, that makes sense why she's so upset when she found out the real truth. Like, she should have known all along. So it is kind of like playing into that.
Yeah. I think it makes sense if she would have known, like, if this were true and he said, you know, my name is Jonathan Christopher, and then she's like, I'm going to call you Jace because, one, she's trying to hide, obviously. Like, it's very, like, you're telegraphing your move here, right? Like, it's obvious that you would want to call him something else because if you pick up on it, somebody else is going to pick up on it. Not to mention, it's not that they never, ever talked about his life in the 7 years that she was his mom, right? Like, she had to have known he was isolated. He didn't know really anyone, even if it's just the basics and he didn't give her a lot of information. All of the clues are literally right in front of your fucking face. Like, she had to have at least had a suspicion, even if she didn't want to admit it or like had an internal battle or whatever. Like, she's taking direct action to prevent anyone else from putting those puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it was like, well, we have to do something because it doesn't make sense that no one would ever know or have any guess. And so we're going to put this in here. But,
yeah, that makes sense.
But it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me.
We appreciate it.
Yep. So, anyway, the way Clary sweeps it under the rug is saying, like, again, makes sense why Maris was so upset. And then she says that we want to believe the people we love are good. Like, that's just normal human nature. Jace, your name is Robert Paulson.
We are all Robert Paulson.
We are all Robert Paulson. Your name is Jace. Maris gave it to you. The Lightwoods loved you. Like, you're Jace. Whatever. And so he's like, so Jace what? Like, Herondale? Claire's like, no, motherfucker, Lightwood. Like, you know that's your family. They love you. Maybe your identity is new, but, like, you're not suddenly a different person. You didn't change overnight. Finding out that Stephen was your father won't make you love him. And Viting was never your real father, but not because you didn't share blood. It's because he didn't love you and take care of you. Robert did that because he's your dad, just like Luke is mine. Duh. And the doubt starts creeping in, and Clary says that, you know what? You probably came here to be alone. You're probably brooding in the shadows because you don't want company. And he responds with, you're right, which I just, like, can you stop writing like this, please? It's not, like...
Previn literally just took her glasses off. Like, she's so mad.
I can't. Anyway. And she's like, okay, guess I'll beat feet then. Like,
bye.
But, you guys, it's cool. It turns out he meant that she was right about being a Lightwood. So, Clary uses her, I wrote, quotes, artist eyes to compare and contrast the first time she saw Jason now. He'd look so regal, like a lion, like Joffrey Lannister, a lion. And now his defensive armor is stripped down, and he was wearing his bruises proudly. He looked human, real, like Samwell Tarly.
Okay, got it.
So Clary tells him about Aline's, like, little joke, and it's like, obviously it's like super weighing on her. So she's like, I'm going to put this like a joke and then I'm going to see how you react.
Right. This is, okay.
Awkward eye contact.
This is why it's so fucking hard to write teenagers because they're so dumb because this is legitimate. Like, this is a conversation that would happen when I was a teenager. Like, I would have done stupid shit like this.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Robin knows because I would have told her about it at length.
Right. So Jace is like slightly offended and he's like, interested? Like, as if you're a book? Like, interested in you? Remember when I told you that I felt like the universe was playing a joke on us? Well, I never really fully believed it. Like, I wanted to make myself sad, like when you purposely put on a sad song and stand in the mirror looking at how ugly you look when you're crying.
Whoa, I feel like we just got a glimpse through the portal meet into Robin's teenage years.
Yes. Everybody's done that. It's fine. She's like, but I never really, I never really felt the way you're supposed to feel like you do about a sister, but I always felt like you were a part of me. I hated every second of it. And when V-Tang tried to use our feelings as a weapon against us, it's what made me hate him. I wonder what I would have done if he had never done that. You know, made me hate him. Would I have followed him? The choice was hard. Harder than I would have liked to admit. And Clary reminds him that she once... No. What? He once told her. Okay, sorry. Clary reminds him that he once told her that, quote, we always have choices. And in the end, he chose to go against Valentine. And that's really all that matters. And he's like, I know. But he's just saying that he thinks he chose the way he did because of Clary. And everything that he's done in his life since they met was because of her. They're tied together. And that's just the way he wants it. And she's like, OMG, like, me too.
Codependent.
Finally, they're admitting it, though. I mean,
Right.
Come on.
And so then Jace tells her that once upon a time, he would have thought that love made you weak. Like, that's what he was told. And then he met Clary, and he saw what love could do. Tracking down Jocelyn, chasing into a den of vampires for Simon. She would have walked straight into hell to save him. Love didn't make Clary weak. It was what made her stronger than anyone he had ever met. And he was the weak one. So Clary refutes his statement, and he says that maybe he isn't anymore, but Valentine couldn't believe he'd killed, like, Jonathan. After all, he was a son with more training. He should have been the victor. In fact, he almost was. But Clary was in Jace's mind, and he knew that he wanted to live more than any other thing he'd felt, even just to look at her face one last time. And Clary's like me, receiving a compliment and is lost for words. Of course, he goes on to tell her how he could never give her up, never gonna let her down, never gonna run around or desert her.
That's right.
Then finally they kiss and head down to the party.
Oh
my God.
So, okay, you know that thing I said about teenagers and how it being realistic? Like, Jace immediately ruined that by saying something that no teenage boy would ever say ever.
That's fair.
So, they meet up with their friends, and Isabel immediately hands Clary a drink and telling her she's pretty sure that she won't get turned into a rat. Like, this isn't going to turn you into a rat, girl.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure.
But Isabel is me with Robin.
Yeah.
Like, in high school.
It's cool. So, she's like, Jace, you want one? To which he says men don't drink pink drinks. And to bring him something brown. Brown is a manly color. Just look at Alex's sweatshirt. Which apparently used to be black, but has been washed so much.
Right.
It is now brown.
It's because Alex's a frugal bitch.
Right.
It's fair.
So Magnus tries to offer him, Alec, a sequined headband to spruce up his outfit. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like a sequined headband? Like maybe an ascot? But a sequined headband? That's weird. Regardless of how you... And I'm like picturing it be tied like a karate headband.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was thinking like 90s, like,
the puffy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I don't think he'd wear an actual headband. I think it's like a headband. So Simon tells him, like, Alec decline, you will look like Olivia Newton-John in Xanadu. Don't do it. So then he goes up to Clary and he's like, Simon, by the way. Simon says to Clary that she looks happy. And it's a good thing for Jace that she does. And Jace is like, okay, is this the take care of her speech? And Simon's like, no, Clary could kill you herself, possibly with a variety of weapons. However, Simon wanted to take this time to tell Jace that it's okay if he doesn't like him. As long as he's making Clary happy, that's all that matters.
Mm. What do you think about that, Amanda?
Whatever. He's finally like, all right, I didn't get her. I just want her to be happy.
Move on.
Just kidding.
Roll hide. Okay, anyway. Jace is like, bro, I don't not like you. In fact, I'm going to give you some advice. I see that you're working the whole like vampire thing with some success.
Jesus Christ.
But you just need to drop the vampire/musician angle because it's played out. And there's no way that Simon's very good. Like, you can't be good at music. Like, just drop it.
Agreed.
So they bicker like a little bit more until Clary breaks it up, telling them they can't be at each other's throats forever. To which Simon replies that actually, technically, he can. And it makes Jace like stifle a laugh. And then Clary like looks like to Isabel and she's like, hey, look, they're getting along.
Okay.
But instead, like, of seeing Isabel, she sees the Seelie Queen, like, at the edge of the forest.
Okay, so
That's
they're
ominous.
outside-inside party? Outside-inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think they're in the courtyard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where it's cold. Unless it's probably magicked. Not
Or maybe
cold.
there's those heaters around.
There's a
Always.
dome over Alicante that like keeps it at a balmy 72.
Good. So the Seelie Queen is beckoning Clary. And she obliges, like, almost unknowingly. Like, this force is driving her there. And the queen is surrounded by, I wrote countries.
Like model UN country.
But that is not, courtiers? How do you say that?
Courtiers?
Yep. What she said.
Uh-huh.
And as, like, she's drawing closer, like, they stop Clary, like, from whatever. Clary wants to know, like, why have you summoned me? And the answer is simple, really. The queen wants a favor for a favor. She wants Clary to advise Luke to pick Meliorn as the Fae representative on the council.
Okay, so they do pick. That's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's who they want to work with.
Maybe they have, like, here's a few people, look into them. These are who we would suggest.
like with a file.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
They gotta be like, has he committed any war crimes?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Here's my resume.
Oh.
It took me entirely too long to get that.
I thought you were going back into it. Got it.
No.
That's funny.
There's this website, Homestar Runner or whatever, and anyway, he's like, oh, you'd like, you could take a look at my resume, and he hands it, and it's his shopping list, and I don't know, it's really funny. Anyway, back to reality, and by reality, I mean City of Glass.
Back to life, back to reality. Sorry, I had to finish it.
Well, I just hit the microphone. Oops. Okay, so Clary says to the Seelie Queen, she's like, do you a favor? Bitch, when you knew that Jace wasn't my brother lover, but you decided to withhold that truth just because you're a giant bitch? Yeah, no thanks.
Pass.
And the queen is like, are you absolutely sure you want to pass this up? Not everyone gets a chance to have a favor owed by the Seelie Queen. And Clary takes like zero time to think about it. And she's like, yeah, no, don't need a favor from you. I have everything I want. Deuces.
Tell me. I want to know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
I'm thinking, Clary, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah,
she didn't
weird.
ask you to make sure Meliorn got on the council. All she asked was for you to tell Luke, hey, maybe you should consider him. Suggest it. Literally takes nothing from you. Doesn't behold you to anything. It is as cut and dry as there is, and she's granting you a fucking favor. You take that and you put it in your back pocket, and you even if you didn't want to ever use that favor ever, and you didn't want to do that, you don't want to piss her off.
You've learned that, right? Yeah, I agree. And she knows Meliorn. She's met him.
Right.
So, like...
Well, and the thing is, I think with fairies, obviously, like, they can't lie. And, like, that's, like, a big... So, regardless of what the favor, she'd have to do it.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And, like, even if you weren't ever planning to do it, it's just to keep the peace and not have this woman who can beckon you to her without you realizing that you're moving. Like,
Crazy.
Obviously, she's super powerful. Like, I wouldn't want to piss that bitch off.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she got you a really damn good kiss. Like, as much as her little meddling was really annoying, but, like, you enjoyed it.
That really brought everything to the surface.
It did. And it got you out of a relationship with Simon.
Yes. I is what you said.
So, anyways, when Clary got back to the party, she found that Robert and Maris had joined them, and they were shaking hands with Magnus. And before Clary could, like, make her way, like, all the way back in, she was tapped on the shoulder by Luke and Jocelyn. And they tell her that Luke is coming back to the NYC after all, and they're going to move into Luke's house since their apartment is all, like, messed up anyway. And Luke just wants to make sure that Clary's okay with all this change.
Yeah, like, you're going to hear us doing it from the walls. So are you cool?
And she's like, bro, my life has changed so much already. This is nothing. Change is good. So Isabel calls to Clary to come see the fireworks that haven't started yet. And Jace asks Clary where she was, and she tells them all about, like, the Seelie Queen. And then they embrace, and Clary is left thinking about everything that happened and how she was still wearing the Morgenstern ring. Like, what the heck? Did she want to remember Vitang? But then again, it was impossible to erase every bad thing from your memory, and every memory was valuable. You should know this after what your mom did to you. Lesson learned. Yep. So, like, she didn't want to forget Max, Madeline, Hodge, the Inquisitor, or even Sebastian. And Vitang wanted to forget that the world had to change and Shadowhunters had to change with it. Like, he'd forgotten that Downworlders had souls and all souls mattered to the fabric of the world. He only focused on what made Shadowhunters and Downworlders different, but what had been his demise was that he made them the same. Aww. Yeah. After that, the fireworks started and, quote, painted the clouds overhead as they fell, one by one in streaking lights of golden fire, like eagles falling from the sky.
Of you somehow that very moment. That was amazing. Robin used her arms and Kristen didn't.
No.
Just for the record.
Insane.
Okay, see, this is what I don't like about books. Okay, this is why I'm a TV person. This is dumb. I'm sorry. Like, the fireworks are like eagles in the sky. Fucking stop. They're fireworks. We all know what they look like, okay? Stop. It made me spit. I'm so just like, no.
Maybe they're magic and they actually are eagles in the shape of fireworks.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And
what a way to end a book with the CACAW from the pair of bro ties.
And that's all I have to say about that.
The end.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, well, make sure that you tune in next week for our City of Glass wrap up.
Do it. All right. For behind the scenes content and the latest updates, check us out on Instagram at Downworlder Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.